Yes.
So, I mean, do you also educate your customers? So basically, what I'm trying to get to it is, how do you, how do you decide what gets funded and who gets funded? So, I mean, is there some education going on? So, for suppose, I come and I want to buy a buffalo, but I don't know anything about farming, right? So you also need to make sure that the right kind of loan is going to the right kind of people here, right? So do you also do that kind of education here?
Who's to say, to take your question, the counter of your question, that I know what kind of buffalo is the right kind of buffalo? I don't know the answer to that question.
Right.
Right. So philosophically, our view is: look, our core competence is giving money. Their core competence is figuring out what business they're good at. Now, the misnomer in microfinance is that it's project finance. It's not project finance, it's project refinance. I've got one buffalo, I want to get 2 more buffaloes. I got 5 goats, I want to get 10 goats. I got a small village grocery, I want to make it a bigger grocery. Borrowers come to us with things that they're already good at. And if they don't know how to do something, they learn from each other. The borrower comes and says, tell me which buffalo to buy. I don't know the answer to that. If I thought that I could answer that question and I told them and I got it wrong, doesn't the borrower have every right to say, well, why should I repay this loan? Right? So philosophically, that's how we approach it. Now, let me show you some data that supports, that that's the right direction to go. Patient with me. Now look at this. Returns on borrowers' micro enterprise after cost of capital. We're talking at a low end, 29% for a general store, at a high end of 246% for a micro diner. I can't do better than that. That's great. All I need to do is get them access to capital. Now this is counterintuitive, right? What's the conventional notion? The poor are illiterate, they don't know, they need to be educated. But that's not what the data says. The poor are incredibly entrepreneurial, not because they're different from us, but because of circumstance. They have no wage opportunities. Being entrepreneurial is a question of survival for them. They've got to get it right. And the data shows that it does. Why else does this work? It also works because, look, we know that family labor, right, and this comes from Russian economist studies, are more productive, right? The Korean grocery store is more productive, right? The Indian 7-Eleven store is more productive because it's family labor than external labor. That's what micro enterprises are. Low infrastructure costs. A village grocery is a home front store. You're not building anything. They're out of the formal sector. No taxes, no legal costs, and capital costs is just a small percentage. It's labor that's the big piece. This is why at a micro level you get extraordinarily high returns. Now, at an SME level, when you're talking $1,000 loan, $2,000 loan, then the dynamics change. That's where we will have an individual loan officer take time, look at cash flows, give advice, and so on and so forth, but not at a micro level.